My name's Chase Healey, owner, brewmaster of Prairie Artisan Ales. We're based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Prairie is an interesting thing. Prairie we got really rolling in September 2012. The thought was, as I was kind of fed up working for other people, for other breweries, and it was time for me to go out on my own, and got with my little brother and said, I'm going to do this. You're an artist. Get on board. Let's do it. And it's kind of been amazing magic ever since. So really, April, March, things really got rolling for us. We had a couple beers in the market, but prior to then, we were still kind of the unknowns, and we are to a degree even still now. But I'd say March 2013, we bring 4 new beers to market, a sour beer, 2 sour beers, 2 different dry hopped saisons. They're all farmhouse-based beers. And I think they really struck a chord with people, and now we've got people all over the world talking about Prairie. What can I say about Oklahoma? It's home for us, and we love it. It's everything maybe people think, and maybe everything people don't think about it. You know, we've got plenty of room, plenty of space out there. It's hot, lots of cattle, lots of open land, but there's a lot of neat things happening, and especially in Tulsa. There's a big influence of art and things going on, and we've got a really neat kind of metropolitan thing that happens there, and you know, we're pretty proud to say that that's where we're from, and it's unexpected in the beer market as far as people imagining that the things that we're doing are coming from that area. But for us, that's the best part, that we get to tell people that that's where we're doing it. For the longest time, I was Mr. Why would any business do Kickstarter? Kickstarter is not exactly a great business model. Why would anyone do it? I even tried to do some kind of joke ones. I tried to do a Kickstarter for us making prairie fishing lures. They kept getting rejected. And in doing so, I kind of started looking more into what was going on there, and I realized that maybe there's something cool happening here, and we'll just give it a shot. So we did. We did a proper Kickstarter campaign. We just finished building a brewery in Tulsa for ourselves, other than the brewery that we currently brew the beers out of. And so I launched it, and it blew me away that we raised almost $24,000. People that just believed in what we're doing, and the thought that people on the coast to coast and even out of the country cared enough about the idea that there was someone trying to, you know, continue to make a difference in this industry like so many others have was really pretty mind-blowing. So we made like $24,000. I was able to buy a heat exchanger, 2 pumps, and 2 fermenters with the money. In doing that, I paid for our brew house and obviously little odds and ends, but other than that, it was a major part in us getting our first initial equipment purchase rolling on the new brewery. So, you know, we've shipped out all of, you know, we gave people glassware and t-shirts, and we actually had to brew about 10 different beers now with some people that donated pretty seriously. So the first one comes out in about 3 weeks, and we'll try to have a new one out every month or 2 after that until we kind of get them all taken care of. And each one, I think, with the care and excitement that we, you know, approach all of our beers with. We kind of hit this interesting spectrum with these incredibly dry, intensely flavored farmhouse beers, and then these intensely flavored, large barrel-aged beers. I guess I'm guilty of brewing what I like, and that's kind of where I'm at with beers. I either want one or the other. Most of the time I want both. We really focus on trying to make these saisons and farmhouse beers that are as dry as we can possibly make them, bone dry, and then typically we dry hop them significantly. That's something we're really into, using different strains of Brettanomyces in them. We want to be able to produce beers that, fresh out of the bottle, are super flavorful and intense, but then as they age, more and more complexity rolls into them as the wild yeast and the things that we put in them really start to come into play. I think our beers, fresh, are one experience, and aged about 3 or 4 months, a completely different one. If I had to just name a few, Standard is our beer that a lot of people are familiar with. It's actually one we're able to produce in like a 6-pack. It's our lightest saison, a little over 5%. But we dry hop that one pretty heavily with a Motueka hop from New Zealand. It's got this nice lime kind of herbal note to it. Ale is our next one, Prairie Ale. How creative. And it is creative when you look at all the artwork and things that my brother is able to bring to the table. But from the beer standpoint, it's our most traditional saison. Saaz hops, but then it's finished with a Brettanomyces strain and a wine yeast strain. That adds just that ultimate dryness to it. Both of those do, and then that Brett really brings in some nice tropical notes. Hop is one people love. It's our dry hop saison that we do. It's got Citra and Simcoe hops in it. Those just really shine through in a beer like that. The great thing about saisons and dry hopping is that when the beer is so dry, it doesn't take as much hops as you would with the double IPA that might be kind of somewhat thick. That real dryness allows those hops to really explode out of the beers. Gold is our sour golden saison that we do. Big white wine notes in it. Also lactobacillus, Brettanomyces, wine yeast, and all those are in that one. And then we have a big focus on more imperial beers that are spirit barrel aged. We've done some rum barrel aged beers. Pirate Noir was a cool stout we did that was aged in Appleton Estate rum barrels. And then Bomb is a new big beer that we have that's aged on espresso, chocolate, chili, and vanilla. And we're about to get some port barrels to age that in. We've got some rum barrels sitting in the brewery that are about to age that beer on. And of course we'll do a couple different bourbon treatments on it. So when I say it's kind of the beers I like to drink, I kind of just brew those, and luckily other people like to drink those as well. A big part of our beer not only is the beer that we put in the bottles, but it's also the artwork and the things that we put on the outside. While I'm responsible for developing these beers, getting them produced, getting them to the packaging is really where my brother Colin shines. The most fun thing I could have ever done is working with my little brother. He is a little brother to me. I always give him a hard time for being my little brother, but he's just about one of the most talented artists I know. He doesn't bug me about the beer, and I try not to bug him about what the labels are, but I give him a premise, and he's just able to design and come up with some just amazing, beautiful things. And so I, just accept the fact that just as our beers are going to be original, a little funky, a little different, so is what he's going to come up with. So we embrace one another's talents and just kind of rely on one another to deliver. And to be honest, right now I feel sometimes like I'm to a point where I need to be coming up with beers that meet the level of what he's able to do, just pen and paper and coming up with in his art. So it's fun, and I'm really lucky to have him on our side to get some really cool looking looks for our product. A lot of people tend to ask or wonder about our little catfish that we use. It's actually our new bottle caps we got made have the catfish on it. If you're in a town that we're in, you might see a little catfish sticker in your local bar or maybe on some sign somewhere. And for us, catfishing, noodling in particular, is a big thing in Oklahoma. Noodling is a type of fishing where someone uses their hand as the bait. Basically what you have are these spawning catfish, and they make these dens in the bank of the river. And in order to catch them, you need to make them angry. So people either use a foot or a hand. I think a hand, and reach in and make that fish angry enough to where they're going to bite down right on your hand. And in doing so, you can then grab them and pull them up out of the water. And these are big, sometimes as big as 30, 40-pound catfish. And so it's a real unique thing that's pretty regional, I suppose, to the Oklahoma, Texas area. So our standard label gives somewhat crude directions on how to do it. There's much more of an art form to it, but we've just decided to really kind of make it our own and include it in what we're doing. People I think really look to Oklahoma and expect there to be a real kind of cowboy, kind of western thing going on, and I do have red jeans and cowboy boots on, and it's to embrace kind of what's going on there. And the same way we look up to maybe some of the European brewers and some of the culture and things they bring to beer, we think it's important that even though we're doing maybe a more interesting, complex styles of beer, that we still need to embrace where we're from and what goes on there. And there's a lot of catfishing going on in Oklahoma, so we've kind of embraced it with some of our packaging and some things that we do. And it's funny, it's silly, but at the same time, it's fairly accurate. The next thing for us is doing some different fruit beers and taking our sour golden ale and aging fruit on it. We'll be doing a dry hopped version of that. What are we calling that? funky gold mosaic. So we're calling it, kind of a funky Comedina kind of. Anyways, so that's really what we're trying to get rolling here in the next few months is getting those beers kind of ready for packaging and rolling those out. And a big thing for us is we're shifting to smaller bottles. We're moving to a 500 milliliter bottle, especially with those kind of bigger, more intense beers. They're great if you have a couple people to share with, but for us, we want to ultimately deliver to that person that bought it, that consumer that, you know, doesn't want to feel nervous about opening a beer because they don't have the right group of people to open it around. So moving to smaller bottle formats, a 500 milliliter and then a 375, and giving people a slightly lower price point and an ability to not feel so nervous about maybe popping one just for themselves on, you know, Wednesday night, just to have a nice beer. And I think that will really help people out and being able to feel more comfortable with just having a Prairie anytime they want. I think a big thing people can take away from Prairie and what we're doing is that it comes from a very, very small group of people just trying to truly express their passions and their talents. We wouldn't want to have it any other way. Everything that we do is just completely coming from us and us as individuals. And I think and I hope that people can take that away from the experience they have with our products, that there's a real uniqueness and a soul to it, what we're doing, and it comes directly from either the beer or the art or just everything that we're able to pour into it.